This video is an edited English version of a video that was originally posted in Japanese on August 20, 2020. Good morning, Hero Wars fans. In this video, I'm going to talk about scouting for talent, which is quite important in guild management. A guild is made up of 30 guildmates, and in the early days of a guild, all guilds are similar. Within the first 2 weeks of the guild's creation, two races are born, active players and zombie players. Feel free to kick out zombie players, as most zombie players are just neglecting their game accounts, which they played on a trial basis when they created their game accounts. In this way, it is common for only about 2 to 7 guildmates to remain in the guild, compared to the capacity of 30. Secondly, new players will naturally join the guild as it is, so the guild capacity will be close to 30, but most of them will be the reserve army of future zombie players. At this point, in most cases, half of the guild masters will abandon the game and not log in at all. So the active guild masters and guildmates start to think that they need active players. At this point, the guildmate or guildmaster will start to think about using the in-game chat function to do some scouting. Here's how scouting works in general. The basic method of scouting is to send a chat message to an opponent you have fought in a guild battle or other game to recruit him/her. Scouting is the first thing anyone would think of doing if they feel the need for human resources, but there is something you need to think about. If you were the guild master, who would you send the chat to? To change the question a bit, where would you click first to send a chat to an unknown player? Probably the first place you would click is the guild flag. Here's the secret I'm going to share with the viewers of this video only. So, what screen does the guild flag appear on? If you click on rankings in the basic screen, you will see the flags of the top players in various categories in that server, as well as the top 50 teams in the server. Also, if you look at the Guild War League screen, you will see 6 guilds in the Gold League, 10 guilds in the Silver League, 30 guilds in the Bronze League, and 100 guilds in the Qualifying League. In other words, Hero Wars can show you the flags of the guilds, but it cannot directly search for individuals on the server. The only individuals you can find are the top 50 players in the arena, so do you really think those people are going to move to a guild that is lower level than yours? So the basic method of scouting is to send chat messages to your guild war opponents. In addition to this, every guild master has a method of displaying guild war rankings and sending chat only to players in the guilds that are displayed. And in my case, it is even more eye-catching. That is, there are more than 6 plus 10 plus 30 plus 100 equals 136 guilds on the server, but there is one guild that appears in the rankings for a brief moment, 1 to several days. These are the out-of-range guilds that are not usually listed in the rankings that appear around 50th to 100th place in the qualifying league. The reason why these outlying guilds are listed in the rankings is that there are hundreds of guilds in the qualifying league, and only when a weak team of a dozen or so people happens to get a high score against a zombie guild do they show up in the top 100 teams in the rankings. Especially from the beginning of the week until Wednesday, when the guild war starts, the rankings from 50th to 100th change rapidly from day to day. If you check the 50th to 100th rankings of the qualifying league every day, you will find guilds with only 5 active players, but among them, there are some great talents with levels over 80 or 100. I noticed this when my guild was languishing around 50th place in the qualifying league, and every day I would click on the flags of guilds that were normally ranked outside of the top 100 and call out to them for high-powered talent. When I did that, my guild was easily promoted to the Bronze League within 2 weeks. Players in guilds that are usually outside the qualifying league have no experience being scouted. This is because the flag of their guild is never seen by others. Furthermore, some people are hesitant to leave their guilds because they think that if they leave their guilds, their Titan level will revert to 0. Some players from guilds that are ranked below 100 in the qualifying league will transfer of their own volition, but the majority of players choose to stay in the guild. This may sound like a lie, but there are players in the 100th ranked guild in the qualifying league who have a hero level of 110. If you talk to such a person in chat, there is a high probability that he will agree to transfer to your guild. If your guild can't get out of the qualifying league in 3 weeks, I would recommend using scouting to get members. However, if your guild's language setting is Japanese, it may be difficult to recruit foreigners. In the case of my guild, the registered chat language was English, so I was able to talk to anyone. Now, it's time for the video to end. If you have any complaints or dissatisfaction with your guild master, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching the video until the last part. I'll see you in my next video.